Tom here with a special guest, a regular panelist here at Midnight's Edge, Mundane Matt himself. Thanks for being here, Matt. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much for having me on.
Fantastic. Thanks for helping me out with this today. They seem to keep adding to this pile of titles that are out there, but just the same, they keep trucking along over at WB when it comes to DC properties. Now, you've already covered these stories on 3 Buck Theater.
Oh, yes, I have.
So you're already familiar with what's going on, but just the same, you're here to help me with these stories. Yes, that's right. There's 2 parts. First, we'll start with Birds of Prey. Kathy Yan is all but set to be the director of the Girl Gang movie. Suicide Squad's Harley Quinn, in the form of Margot Robbie, will star. A deal has yet to be completed, but it is expected that Yan will become the 3rd female filmmaker to join the DC club after Wonder Woman's Patty Jenkins and Ava DuVernay was announced for the upcoming New Gods. Robbie's Lucky Chap company is producing, with Sue Crawl and her Crawling Company Entertainment and Brian Unklis of Clubhouse Pictures. Robbie and Unklis produced I, Tonya together. Now, there was a Birds of Prey TV series years ago that revolved around the daughter of Bruce Wayne and Selena Kyle, if I remember right. So Birds of Prey isn't exactly an unknown title, but of course Robbie and the girl power behind this will definitely make it stand out, I think. I didn't hate Suicide Squad. I enjoyed it for the wonderful mess that it was. I know it wasn't perfect, but just the same, I haven't liked the rest of the DC films as much as you have. But Matt, what's your take on all this?
Yeah, they're really hitting this weird thing now where it's like, I think they finally actually have a way to combat Marvel, right? And that's focusing on female-led entertainment. Or female-directed, female-starring entertainment. I mean, look at Wonder Woman. Female-directed, female-starring, $800+ million, you know. And that's what they want for Bird of Prey. That's exactly why they're doing what they're doing with Birds of Prey. But the idea behind this one is that they're basically treating Batgirl like Marvel treated Black Panther.
Right.
So the entire point of this movie is just that they want to have it's a vehicle for Margot Robbie, which I'm totally fine with. I loved her as Harley Quinn. And they're going to introduce Batgirl as a way to then lead into her own movie.
Right, as I stated before, I didn't hate it. As far as Suicide Squad goes or went, I thought it was a beautiful mess for what it was. Margot Robbie being one of the better parts. I wasn't sure if she was going to pull off Harley Quinn, but she did all right. And Will Smith was okay. I didn't care for Jared Leto as the Joker, but the rest of the movie didn't bother me as much. Yeah, it was a little bit out of order. I think it could have used another rewrite and maybe an edit, but regardless, Margot Robbie was obviously the standout in that film. And now this, of course, is going to push off a lot of stuff like Batgirl and all these other movies, which, like you said, they're going to set her up in this.
There's also the news that this bumped Suicide Squad out of the production of 2018. And Joel Kinnaman said a few weeks ago that the cast was training together. They got the gang back together. They're getting ready, which tells me that they had a script, they had a production start date, and then this is Walter Hamada coming in and saying, no, hold on. We announced Ava DuVernay for New Gods, which is a horrible decision in my opinion. But they announced her for that, and now they're doing Kathy Yan for this. They want to make this their big push. They want to make this their big push, and they're going to push Suicide Squad 2 back, and I agree with you. I loved Suicide Squad for the mess that it was. I was very happy to see Will Smith being Will Smith as Deadshot. Fine with me. And I loved everything else about the movie, even if it wasn't the best thing on the planet. But that's what they're doing here, is they're very much trying to capitalize on that particular, I don't want to call it a trend because I feel it would like diminish the capacities of the directors, but they're trying to capitalize on what's in vogue, really.
Well, they're making a course correction of sorts, and they're, like you said, they're using this as kind of a vehicle.
Yeah. And they've also got Marvel beat on that one too. Like, you know, Marvel still hasn't announced a female-led film. Well, no, sorry, it's Captain Marvel. But I mean, like,
they're still about a year out from that, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah. And the other thing, and this is my theory, and I did cover this in my video, is there a while back, I don't remember if you heard, there was this rumor that 2019 was going to be the year of the Bat.
Oh yeah, there was a Midnight's Edge video on it.
Yeah, like the 5 or 6 projects or whatever they had rumored. Well, think of it like this. Birds of Prey is going to feature Batgirl, therefore in the same theme. Matt Reeves' Batman should film this year, which would then put it for a 2019 release. And if that happens, that could not happen, I have no idea.
Right, I wouldn't count on that.
But then that would give us 2 Batman-themed projects in that year, which is, it kind of falls in line. Because, you know, Nightwing's not going to happen this year.
Not likely, yeah. We haven't heard much about that in a while.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think you're kind of onto something there with this whole feminine reboot of the DC universe of sorts. Not a reboot, but using it as like a vehicle, like I said.
Yeah.
There is some more DC-related news. It seems that Spielberg is jumping into the superhero game. According to Deadline, Spielberg will be producing and possibly directing a Blackhawk film for Warner Brothers. Spielberg and Amblin Entertainment recently teamed on the feature adaptation of Ernest Cline's Ready Player One, which has amassed a $476 million haul worldwide. Blackhawk was first published by Quality Comics and later by DC and was created by Chuck Cudera, with input by Bob Powell and Will Eisner, who is best known for the Spirit comic. In the series, the Blackhawks are a small team of diverse World War II ace pilots who are led by an enigmatic leader, Blackhawk. In the comic, they operate out of a hidden base known as Blackhawk Island and battle Axis forces, but also foes such as King Condor and Killer Shark and a line of femme fatales. During the height of the comic's popularity, it outsold every other comic book but Superman. The screenplay for Blackhawk is being penned by David Koepp, who has collaborated with Spielberg as a screenwriter on things like Jurassic Park and the sequel and War of the Worlds, Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull. Spielberg will produce the film along with Christy McCaskill-Krieger under Amblin Entertainment, while Sue Kroll will executive produce under her Kroll & Company Entertainment shingle. Another name popping up again. There has been several incarnations over the years of the comics since they were purchased by DC, but I have a feeling that Spielberg's involvement is a good indication that the movie will probably take place during World War II like the original comics and not the New 52 version, which seems to be a bit more like S.H.I.E.L.D. with the advanced tech and the sort. You also did a video about this, Matt. What was your take on this?
I agree with you. I think if there's any person out there that can capture the essence of World War II, and like I don't want to use the word like mystique, but it kind of feels that way, would be Spielberg. Obviously with Saving Private Ryan and Schindler's List and Band of Brothers and also The Pacific. This is a dude who knows World War II. And if he's going to go in there and tell this story about a squadron of 7 elite fighter pilots who take on, you know, like Warhammer, which is a gigantic mechanical monstrosity, and all these other crazy over-the-top Nazi weaponry, it feels like. I feel like that's going to be a very kind of pulpy take on it. And I'm okay with that. I mean, like, the last time we got anything similar to this, we get Iron Sky 1 and 2 and Sky Captain and the World of Tomorrow, and those are both kind of like B-movie favorites. But if they were, and I was looking through some of like the old issues, some of the artwork, and it's like, yeah, they could totally take a pulp approach to this and have a lot of fun with it. And so I feel that Spielberg coming into this, it would definitely do well. I think he's feeling good right now, if I'm being honest. I think he's feeling good off of Ready Player One, 476 million worldwide, not a bad number, and he wants to go back in. I just want a Tintin too, man. Like, what the hell? Like, that's my complaint. Like, don't go and do something else. If you're going to adapt another comic, do a Tintin.
Last I knew, I think that's still coming, but Peter Jackson's supposed to direct the sequel. But anyway, I'm not sure if this is going to really tie into the DC universe overall, really. I don't see it anyway. I could see Spielberg doing it, but I don't see it tying into the universe.
Well, they could. They could. This could be an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. side of thing. I mean, okay, they could sit there and like tie it in to, you know, I don't know, Batman's dad or something, right? Like Thomas Wayne.
Or you could have a Wonder Woman cameo, I suppose.
Yeah, Wonder Woman could be there. You know, could be hanging out in the background and doing something like that. And I would argue at this point in time, it kind of feels very dumb for DC to not tie everything together, no matter how out there it feels. Because if they start pushing this multiple timelines based on DC Comics thing, which has been rumored heavily, it destroys whatever they've built. And since right now people like that type of continuity, they like the fact that 19 Marvel movies are out, well, in 10 days, 19, that tie everything together, they like this. And this is where Walter Hamada has to figure out how he wants to tie it all together, because that's his job now. And if he's going to be bringing in Spielberg to do this comic book, to adapt this comic book, they're going to have to tie it into the greater DCEU.
Well, if they're to be believed with their reporting, they're going to try and get away from that with the Joker movie and all that. But who knows? Now that they're going this direction, it's hard to say. I'm sure we'll find out more as pre-production goes on. It's going to be a bit before Spielberg can get to this if he's going to direct, because, of course, he's got Indy 5 first on the docket, and then the remake or update of West Side Story, so it's going to be a bit before Spielberg can even get to it if he's going to direct. What do you guys think about this, and what do you guys think of the Birds of Prey news? Of course, I want to thank Matt for joining me today and helping me out with the stories.
Thanks for having me.
With the recent changes to YouTube's monetization policy, we'd like to ask that you please consider supporting the channel through Patreon. As thanks, Patreon members will receive early notification of mini-documentaries, special behind-the-scenes making of the Edge videos, outtakes, bloopers, lost episodes, and more. Support tiers start for as little as $1 a month. Check the link in the description. Thank you.